I'm gonna sit. All right. All right. Well, ditto on all that, what she just said. Except for, I mean, surely there are some major differences in how Heather and I live our lives and how we've been affected by Miller syndrome. I'm not as organized as them, so I kind of just have a hodgepodge of regular life events and whatnot, so I'll try and keep it together. I actually, back in 2000, I got my associates in graphic design from a trade school, Utah Community College. But then it was rather hard to get out in the field. It was quite saturated, and I kind of fell back on other things, which I may or may not talk about in a second.
This is one of Logan's pieces of art. I don't know if you can see that in the back. I grabbed this off the wall of my house because I forgot to bring some of his prints from my salon where I keep them. So he painted a series of flowers because he figured that they would sell more easily than other kinds of things. And then he had cards made out of his flowers. So he has greeting cards, and he had them put in packages of 5 varieties. So he's a very talented young man.
Over the years, I've tried to work. My first job was at the Utah the Hogo Zoo. And that was about 1995, I think. It seemed to be okay. Shirley seemed to be okay for me at like a regular job, but turned out that they ended up having me clean up tables with bleach and stuff outside, which like in the winter time, it was really cold and just not really my thing. So I ended up quitting that and have done many other jobs, office jobs, some inbound calls and outbound calls. Yeah, having hearing loss made it very hard. But back at the time, actually, the most difficult thing was just being extroverted enough to sort of cold call people, deal with normal human reactions that are generally not happy reactions. Obviously, we don't tell marketers. That's the word I'm trying to think of. You know, we all love them.
If you want to ask Logan some questions, he'd love to answer them. Yes?
I actually have a question, because you obviously, like, your mental faculties are all there. And so do people, because of your physical disabilities, do people, like, assume that you have mental disabilities as well?
Yes, actually, that's one of the biggest things that I've dealt with that have caused my sort of social phobia. Many people do assume that, you know, and amazingly, having a hearing aid seems to imply that as well. And that has caused me a lot of self-doubt. It's a big issue. It's kind of up to me to show them that that's not the case, but it's hard to have to be that extroverted to sort of jump ahead of the first impression for everybody. Heather, anything?
Because I have autism, I never really cared that much about other people growing up, and I didn't mind. I just kind of stuck to myself and play with my brother. I'd go to school, listen to the teacher, and come home, do my homework, and I just enjoyed reading. I knew I was smart, and that's all I cared about.
She lived in a very nice protected bubble. Other question?
Have you two met other people who have Miller syndrome?
Yes, we've met families that are with the program.
The families that you saw. Foundation for Nagar and Miller Syndrome was started by the mother of Bridget. Every 2 years they try and get whoever can come that has Nagar syndrome or Miller syndrome together. And Heather and I just went last year, and Logan went about 2 4 years ago. So they have. Well, I guess because it's already 5 after 5, even though I'm sure you have lots of questions, we better respect that you guys have been in this classroom for a long time. So we just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and we hope that something we've said has touched you, and that you feel like it's a benefit for your education to be doctors. And if any of you want to stay afterwards and ask more questions, we're happy to stay. Thank you.